Hey Duck fans, Kurt here from fishduck.com. I'm finished moving and all settled into my new place. If you're seeing this on FishDuck's front page, going forward, this weekly video log will be posted directly on fishduck.com, as well as my YouTube channel. Charles, aka FishDuck, and I really want to incorporate as much content as possible with the site, so it was a no-brainer to start featuring these videos here. In addition to the daily articles we feature on FishDuck, on Fridays, Josh Schlichter provides video analysis of the Oregon opponents, and of course you already know about FishDuck's videos. We have a lot more planned, a lot more in the works, and hopefully this site continues to grow to be something truly unique and special for our Oregon fans and those who come to our site who even are not Oregon fans. So thank you to all who are watching and all who participate in FishDuck. Now, if this is the first one of these that you're watching, this is a weekly video that I make here in my home. It's a little off the cuff, a little relaxed, sometimes rambling collection of thoughts, all things related to the Oregon Ducks. I'll also incorporate weekly music picks and occasionally may go a little off topic as need be, so of course I will still be writing weekly articles for FishDuck, done so with a bit more professionalism, let's say, than these videos. These are a bit more informal. So kick back, relax, pop your tops, and let's talk a little ducks. Now, we have grand plans to continue expanding FishDuck's content, and the positive responses thus far have been fantastic. What we need now is volunteer help. There is so much more that we envision with fishduck.com, and frankly, it comes down to time. So if you have a passion for Oregon sports and the capacity to volunteer your time, please contact Charles and myself at charles@fishduck.com and kurt@fishduck.com. Our biggest areas of need right now are those with HTML knowledge and social media experts, but any and all volunteer assistance is welcome. The more people we have helping out, the more we can do with fishduck.com. So if you like the site, please volunteer. Now, for those of you who have seen this weekly vlog before, you may have wondered why there wasn't one last week. Well, I did create an entire episode, but then experienced major technical issues, and by the time I got them fixed, well, a video that primarily previewed the Civil War posted after the game was over, it doesn't serve much purpose. So that's why there was no episode 19 before. As proof, here's a little snippet of what you should have seen. Mississippi. 7th oldest rivalry in the country. This is the week everyone has to pick a side. Where do you stand? Are you a duck or are you wrong? See, that was me last week. The lost episode. So actually, this should be episode 19 and a half. Let me make that change right now. First off, I want to say that I really do appreciate the efforts that are being made to expand seating at Autzen Stadium. Nike originally wanted to erect 10 of those temporary towers, but only 2 ended up going up. It shows that there is at least some effort to increase seating, because let's face it, the reason why Oregon tickets are so expensive is because the demand for tickets far exceeds supply. Have you ever gone to a game at the Rose Bowl? General admission seats are $12. Think you can find a $12 seat at Autzen? No, because the stadium doesn't seat 92,000 fans. Well, normally you can't find seats that low, but for some reason, Duck fans seem completely uninterested in the Pac-12 championship game. Granted, yes, the point spread is 32. Yes, they've converted Autzen into a neutral site. And yes, it sucks that it's on a Friday at 5 p.m., so a lot of people can't take work off to attend this game. And yes, it stinks that season ticket holders got bumped from their seats for corporate sponsors, and that UCLA appears to be able to put up about as much of a challenge as Missouri State did. But come on, this is the last game at Autzen for months. Why wouldn't you want to attend this? Some tickets are only $17 online. Why so apathetic, Duck fans? This is the first ever Pac-12 championship game. Our Ducks are fighting for the right to lift the only trophy in the country designed after a female body part. Yeah. After the trophy presentation, also, it should be noted that Graham Colton is going to be performing for the crowd. which I guess is going to be pumped through the crappy Autzen Stadium sound system. That might be a little odd. I remember the days of concerts being held inside Autzen. Grateful Dead and Bob Dylan and U2 in 1997 was the last one. But an artist performing during a game will be one more experience that makes this game a little weird compared to what we're used to. So stick around for that. It'll be after the trophy presentation. Now, I've met Graham Colton a few times, and he's a nice guy, so be nice, Duck fans.
These are the best days, there's always something tomorrow, so I say, let's
I know UCLA is horrible, and this game will probably be boring, but keep this in mind. It is quite possibly the last time Oregon ever plays a Rick Neuheisel coached team. It could be the last weasel stomping day we may ever have. So bring back those memories of Colorado and Washington and get your weasel stomping hatred on.
Don't you know it's weasel stomping day?
Yeah, this game probably won't be competitive. Ducks couldn't do their walkthrough inside Autzen, which was a little odd because they were modifying the stadium for the game, making it a neutral field. I think the only way this game may be competitive is if they leave those tents and benches on the field, forcing the Ducks to only use half the field. And I have to wonder, how much are the hash side seats going for this game? Overall, our special teams has been stellar, and I really want to commend Oregon special teams. All things considered, the Oregon Ducks special teams have been about as good as we have ever seen in Eugene. Coach Oz and Coach Rat have done an unbelievable job. In fact, my Fish Duck article this week was all about Duck special teams, so go check it out in case you missed it. I interviewed Ronnie Harris, Jose Arroyo, Josh Frankel, and Mike Belisle to go over what makes Oregon special teams so good, an overview of recent Duck special teams history, and some technical aspects to the art of kicking and snapping. Now, as for that Civil War game, yeah, the Ducks looked horrible in the first quarter. The defense looked awesome. Oregon's offense was completely out of sync. But even still, this was a cakewalk over the hapless Beavers. This is not the typical Riley team that we've been accustomed to. James Rogers was injured, and even with him in the lineup this year, they were horrible. They lost to Sacramento State, they got blanked by Wisconsin, and really never improved much over the course of the season. This game was typical of many of the Duck games this year. Outside of the Nevada performance, they've never really had a solid 4 full quarters of being in sync. They stutter, they stumble, and then they steamroll. Darron Thomas has taken a tremendous amount of criticism this year, ever since Brian Bennett played against two of the worst teams in the conference in 2 quarters against Arizona State. And he did well. I commend Brian Bennett for that. In particular, he did really well running the ball. But I think people are unfairly comparing Thomas to Dennis Dixon. People see Thomas and they expect him to have the same attributes, to be able to run the same way, throw the deep ball the same way. Well, Thomas is not Dennis Dixon, okay? People watch Bennett and how he runs more, and then they assume, well, why isn't Thomas running as much? People remember Jeremiah Masoli and how he ran all the time and think, well, Thomas must be making the wrong reads because he hardly ever runs. Well, let me say a couple things that may surprise the fans who have been calling for Bennett. Thomas, in the Civil War, excluding the first quarter, threw for 260 yards and 4 touchdowns. This year versus Nevada, Thomas threw for 6 touchdowns in the game, 5 in the first half alone, and he didn't even play in the fourth quarter. The only other Oregon quarterbacks to throw for 6 touchdowns in a single game in school history, Danny O'Neal versus Stanford in 1994, and Joey Harrington versus Arizona State in 2000. Oregon this season has thrown 33 touchdown passes, the most in school history. The previous record was 1998 when Achilles Smith threw for 32. The Ducks still have 2 games left to play this season. That 1998 record is going to be shattered. Oh, and all Thomas did last year was lead Oregon to the national championship game. So why are people complaining about Thomas? Because he doesn't display the same kind of style that Dixon did. Lest we forget, in Dixon's junior year, people called for him to be benched in favor of Brady Leaf, and in fact, he was. Dixon left to play baseball that following summer, and I remember some of my friends saying, good riddance, and they were hoping that he didn't come back for his senior year. Then his senior year, he was the front runner for the Heisman Trophy. Thomas is a junior right now. How spoiled are we that we're seeing multiple records being set, and people want Thomas benched for a redshirt freshman? Look, Bennett, I feel, is going to be special for the Ducks someday. But this is Thomas's team, and let's support our quarterback. And now, my random tweet of the week.
Hey, will you shut up?
Thank you.
Every week, I provide a music recommendation. And this week, I want to talk about Bob Schneider. Simply put, Bob is one of the most eclectic songwriters to come along in recent memory, if not ever. He's been a prolific member for years of the Austin, Texas music scene as frontman of multiple bands like Lonely Land and the Scabs, and has gained quite a bit of attention for his extensive solo work. Bob combines humorous and intelligent lyrical content matched with a wide array of musical styles. He's the son of a famous opera singer in Germany, and Bob has clearly taken the influence of the versatile Austin music scene, incorporating it into his music. On any given Bob Schneider album or concert, expect to hear rock, funk, hip-hop, reggae, soul, jazz, folk, calypso, blues, Americana, even pirate shanties that he usually closes his shows with. His songs have even incorporated opera vocals. He was for a time signed to Universal Records, and you may have heard his music featured in multiple films, including 40 Days, 40 Nights and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Now, if you like variety in your music, then Bob Schneider is the guy for you. It's really tough to lock down Bob's sound because he so seamlessly crosses into different genres from song to song, always with a smirk and a certain bravado that is distinctly Bob. He's also a tireless worker. He releases a new album almost every year and tours constantly. If he's coming through your town, check it out. A Bob Schneider concert is definitely worth your time. Oh, and be prepared for some crowd participation, as his staple songs Tarantula and Sons of Ralph both require massive crowd interaction.
We're like Romeo and Juliet and 40 dogs. Cigarettes were like good times that haven't happened yet, but will. And I can tell you where we're gonna be when the whole world falls to the sea. We'll be living ever after happily. Sometimes you remind me of a moonbeam on the ghost of a moonbeam out on the beach down by the coast, slipping through the net like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Come out tonight, come out with me, baby. We'll throw the careful into the crazy, turn the sky black into a sky blue, turn the close shade into a whoo. But what I say is true. Make a fire, gotta burn a few. Make a fire, gotta burn a few, and we can do what we want to do. We're like Romeo and Juliet, 40 dogs, cigarettes were like good times that haven't happened yet, but will. I can tell you where we're gonna be when the whole world falls to the sea. We'll be living ever after happily.
So that's it for me this week. Go check out more of Bob Schneider's music. Show up and get loud for the neutral site game at Autzen Stadium for what could be the last weasel stomping day that we get to experience. Stick around afterwards for the trophy presentation as well as Graham Colton's performance. And this is the last Pac-12 game of the year. So enjoy it, everybody, and keep coming back to fishduck.com for new daily content. I'll be back next week. Same duck time, same duck website. It's why we say, go fish, get hooked. Until then, this is Kurt saying, let me put down my beer. Go Ducks.